Good morning, everybody. It's Mr. D at In the Middle with Mr. D1 at blogspot. Singing strategies that I use in SQ Middle School Sight Singing program. I know a lot of you already use it, and I appreciate Amelia for joining. Thank you. I could talk about sight singing forever in 10 days, and I hope that what I share today will give you some insight into what's in it, and then if you're using it, you can certainly ask questions and join in and chime in. Remember, this is the final June event for me, and I'm going to schedule some more. Good morning. I feel like I know you people now, like coming in every day. I appreciate it. The dog's barking a little bit, so forgive that. But remember, at the end of this, we're gonna offer some special deals, and I have a lot today because I want to really, for people who've been joining, give them a peek into S-Cube that maybe you've not been able to get and you've been thinking about doing it. And if you don't want to miss any July events, because I'm going to do more, I haven't scheduled them yet. I'm trying to be laid back about this in the summer to dial it down a notch. Make sure you subscribe to my email list at inthemiddlewithmrd@gmail.com and just write subscribe in the subject line. And please consider sharing these Periscopes on your social media. If you also do Facebook Live later, I would do the same thing in about 20 minutes. Please share as much as you can with your peers so they can take advantage of the deals that last for 2 hours or until noon today is probably what I'll do, East Coast time. All right, so I want to go right into some sight singing strategies. All right, so I'm a big proponent of solfege. Obviously, there's you who use it already, and I like it because many reasons. One is the vowels that you use, and it helps purify those vowels in the kids' tone, and you get to work on them all the time. I've not been a number person. I know we could argue this for 10 days and it would not make a difference. You know, a lot of people are just really comfortable with numbers, but I was a solfege person in college. That's what we were taught. Now, I did not do the hand signs, and so in my college training at all, and that really, I wish we had done that. And I waited until probably 5 years or more into my teaching before I did them. And they're not that hard, you know, it's really quite simple. And but you know, I just avoided them, and my kids struggled a lot. And as soon as I began to add them in, the hand signs in addition to the solfege, everything began to change. I mean, if you think about kids who, instrumentalists, right? They're using fingerings or on the piano, they're touching something. And excuse me, so the touching helps them, the kinesthetic piece of it. Hello. So that's why I use the hand signs, and I make sure we do them a lot. And thanks for the hearts, we do in a game. I created this game called Forbidden Pattern. I'm talking about sight singing today, which is when you take music and you look at it and you can take it off the page and sing it at first sight. A cappella is the goal. So that hand signs changed everything, and the lifting and lowering of the hand. So I created a game called Forbidden Pattern, and if you use it in your classroom, press some hearts for me. But the Forbidden Pattern game is, yes, they have buttons and keys and singers don't have, so that's why the hand signs are great. So a lot of the teachers, I saw a Facebook discussion recently about numbers versus hand signs, or should you even use the hand signs at all? And I absolutely think you should, 100%. Because it gives them the kinesthetic piece. And then in my sight singing program, not only do we do hands up and down, but we use pulsing for rhythm. The rhythm technique of pulsing helps them so much, because I remember my kids used to try to sight sing, and they would not use the hand signs. They were using solfege, and they would just get lost in the middle of the exercise and stop. Numbers, rhythm, and counting, solfege equal pitch. Yes, okay, I agree 100%. So the game, if you don't know the game, it's called Forbidden Pattern, and if you go on YouTube and Google like Sight Singing Middle School Dale Duncan, or Sight Singing Middle School Music in the Middle of Mr. D, you'll find the game on YouTube. And I filmed myself doing it with the kids on the first day of school, and it's about 11 minutes long, and you can just see it and get it out and see how it works. I also filmed some teaching tips as well, so you can get access to that without having to go and purchase S-Cube if you want, you know. But if you want the lesson plans by the day, of course you would want to go ahead and get the S-Cube program. But this game helped me become fluent in in the hand signs myself, because we play it every single day that we do sight singing. It's sort of what we do before we actually do the sight singing example. And the game engages the kids, and they're playing against you, and you make it as fun as you can, and I kind of guide you in that in S Cubed and tell you some ways to make it engaging. But you can tell from all the free videos on YouTube that is really key. So solfege is number one to me, and combining that with the hand signs, the kinesthetic piece. And then in terms of rhythm, I use the Kodai system, a Kodai-based ta-ta, ti-ti-ta with my beginners. With middle school, I found that works really effectively. I found that counting one ienda, two ienda was very difficult. I tried it, but I teach true beginners, and I've never had a little Mozart in my class. And I've taught for 24 years, and I don't think I'm going to get one anytime soon. I mean, I've had some kids who've had some music background, but my objective in my sight singing approach is to get the true beginner engaged and to get the true beginner successful. And that's one of the reasons I think that my program began to grow, is because the students, I was able to translate that language step by step. And over time, in the beginning, I remember I'd try all these different sight singing approaches, and they skipped steps for my beginners, and I would get frustrated and they would get frustrated. And if you've had the same experience, press some hearts, because I really, that's the main reason I created, thank you for that. I created this program. So the pulsing, I introduced about halfway into the program, like halfway in, I'd say lesson, actually it might be 7 or 8, I can't even remember, because I just kind of follow my lessons, as many of you do as well. But we add the pulsing in, and then they're able to, it's really quite difficult. I always tell them it's like, at first, it's like, you can't see my feet, but it's like tap dancing and rubbing your hand and your head all at the same time. It's so much stuff that they have to get. So in S Cubed, I take it one step at a time, right? I just, I really am patient with their pulsing. I encourage them to pulse. I keep it kind of stepwise, and we go really, really slowly through the process. Another technique that I use, a lot of teachers talk about audiation versus like practice singing out loud. And I found that audiation for me, for my beginners, was a very frustrating experience. And some states require it, and if you've had the same experience with audiation, hearts, but that's been my experience. Audiation for my students did not work as well. And I mean, I do it some as they get more advanced, but really my approach is something I call chaos. If you teach middle school, you definitely know about chaos. But chaos is an organized practice time. Thanks for joining. Yeah, thanks for the hearts. We all know that's why we need summer, right? The chaos is an organized practice time that my students use, and I teach it. I teach the process. We have a day where I actually teach it. And then I just push them out there and let them go. Now, chaos is when they have a moment or two, maybe 2 minutes or so, to practice on their own a sight singing example that they are trying to achieve. All right. So, and I want it to be chaos. I tell them they have to be independent. They're not allowed to practice together. They have to sing out loud. They have to use the hand signs. Thank you. Appreciate it. It is snappy. Yep. So that is a process that I really do think helps my kids a lot. They get to practice independently, and I talk to them as they're practicing. They're looking at my Promethean board. They're attacking the example, but I tell them, I'll say like, great hand sign usage, Sarah, or your pulsing looks great, Bob, or whatever. And these are the things that really help push them along and encourage them to do their very best with that practice time. Chaos is a period of time that is really key. And in Georgia, which is where I teach, the students, chaos is good. It's really good. Try it. But you do have to teach it. Teach this, and you can go on my YouTube channel, or you can Google middle school sight singing, Dale Duncan, chaos, and I think the video will be somewhere. You'll just find it on Google. That's a great way to find a lot of my teaching techniques, and they're there for free for you to use. I struggled so much in the beginning with teaching this subject matter, and I could not figure it out, that once I figured it out, I was like, I'm going to share it, and so it's all out there. So let me think, some other practice. Okay, so audiation. I found that when the kids sat, how long do you let them practice? Okay, it depends on the example. Okay, and the motivation of the kids. Okay, I got both those, okay? They just faded away. The kids practice a minute or two, and then we'll stop and we'll talk, and then they'll practice another minute, and then they'll do the example. Because in Georgia we have 5 minutes. How do I get the kids to use the hand signs? It's the game. It's forbidden pattern. They love it. And sorry that the guy is here behind us doing the spray for the bugs. It's real live stuff. So they love the game. I mean, that's all. And we use the hand signs in the game. Forbidden pattern. Just Google it. And they, because we're competing, they don't even notice they're using it. It takes a while to become fluent, right? I mean, we all know that. Like, I was scared to use them in the beginning too. But once I started using them through the game, I became super fluent, and then they did too. And then now I can even do all the chromatic version, which we do in level 2 of S Cubed. Through the game, it's got to be fun for them. And then when you see children, not using them in the practice chaos time, just encourage them, gently, just make sure you use the hand signs, keep it as positive as you can, because naturally some kids are kinesthetic learners and some kids are oral and some kids are visual, and so you really have to make sure that you encourage them, and they will, and my kids use them like crazy. I think it's the game that helps the most. So the audiation piece, sitting there and trying to figure out what an example is that it's hard for even me. I need to get my computer up, sorry. It's really difficult for me to do that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there it goes. Ear training is a big component in my approach as well. And we do, I think, S Cubed attacks way, way, way more than sight singing. And once I kind of got the formula down and the process in place, my students, their sound changed, and their accuracy and pitch changed. And about lesson 3 is when I start the ear training piece. And I make it a big thing. I mean, I teach sharp and flat singing during that time. And then we practice it for a while, and eventually in the original series we get to chromatics, which I mentioned earlier, and I've got some things on Pinterest with the actual signs that I use, and the descending is different, and you can find that on Pinterest. I'm there as well. I think it's under Music in the Middle with Mr. D. It's all out there. You can find those charts. The ear training component, though, changed how my kids sang. I focused on teaching sharp and flat singing, because when you're teaching the scale and you're doing solfege, and you've got in the front of your room, you've got a ladder, which I have in my, I think in S Cubed, I put some links to somebody who created a ladder for S Cubed that you can post in your room, and it shows exactly where those half steps are located. And when those kids sing the scale in the beginning, they go do, re, mi, fa, sol, on fa, right? Every single time. That's why I made ear training a component of S Cubed. It's a big piece, and it's fun, and you get to be silly with it, because I sing out of tune on purpose, and I love it, and so you can just have a good time with that. And thanks for those hearts, appreciate you. The ultimate goal of S Cubed and all the things that I have put into place, the process, which is very methodical. It is one step at a time. You cannot rush this process. It's a language. I mean, we would not expect children to come into our room and speak French in America in, a month, right? And so my process is a 27-week process. Now I see my kids 5 times a week. I do sight singing 3 to 4 times a week. I mean, by the time, 10 to 15 minutes, right? By the time you see, you have field trips and assemblies and all that, that's what it amounts to, 3. And 27 weeks was my formula, because in 27 weeks is when my students generally go to their adjudication. And so I wanted them to be able to achieve the sight singing examples, which in Georgia are crazy, ridiculously hard. When I moved here from New Jersey, I could not believe what they expected. Like, I read the criteria and I went, I couldn't do this my freshman year of college. Like, what, seriously, and that's when I really refined the process in S Cubed. So I wanted them to succeed, and I wanted them to feel. I remember that first year in the sightseeing room going, what? And we didn't even have sightseeing in New Jersey. It wasn't even a requirement of our adjudication. And in North Carolina, where I taught in the beginning of my career, they sang unison, stepwise, quarter notes. Now, I think it's good that Georgia has a high criteria. I've heard that Texas does as well, and many other states. And if you're from those states, you can press the hearts for me so I know kind of who's out there. But it is a really challenging experience in that sightseeing room. And because I watched so many teachers walk out of that room frustrated, after my first year, I got it worked out. But I watched them come out frustrated. I was like, I've got to put this on some PowerPoints or something. I've got to figure it out. So that's what I've done. So that is kind of in a nutshell, some of the things, and you can certainly ask questions. Now I'm gonna share with you what's in my store today, so you can go in there until noon, and I've got a lot of free stuff, so you can kind of see, and please share this on social media. But today until noon Eastern time, I've got, and all you do is music in the middle of Mr. D, TPT, and you'll get to my store if you're not familiar. And I'll show you some things here and see if I can pull it up. But first, I've got lesson 1 for free, which I often do for a period of time, and it will be until noon. I've got lesson 27 for free, just download it. You can see where you end up. It's in 2 parts, it's very difficult. The dotted quarter, eighth note rhythms that they're required in Georgia, I want my students to know how to do that. Skips, so go download 27 so you can see where you end up if you do S Cubed program. Then I've got the final lesson of level 2. It's lesson 15. It's free until noon, so go download that. You can see where they go, because I tell you, my freshman year in college, I could never have done the example that my students have to do in lesson 15 of level 2. So those are three free things. So you need to see the scope and the range of what we're doing in S Cubed. Now, in addition to that, I've got for today, and I don't offer this very often. I do it very infrequently. The Mega Bundle, which includes levels 1 and 2 combined. It's my entire sightseeing curriculum, which is would normally be a $300 purchase because it's that much material. It's giant. It's $119 today until noon. If you want them both, if you want level 1 and level 2, and just commit. And then level 1 is $99 until noon today. That's lessons 1 through 27, which is plenty for most people, And then some people don't teach their kids every day, so I've got lessons 1 through 5 in a bundle. And that is gonna be, I think I put it today at $49, so maybe you don't need that much. You can just do 1 through 5. They don't get to chaos, but they get a lot of sightseeing techniques. And they do a little bit of easy sightseeing by lesson 5. That would be good for elementary teachers and things. And then the level 2 is $27. So if you're already an S Cubed user, it's $27 until noon today. I've been doing that all week long. And again, please share this with your peers so that they can take advantage of these things. If you have any questions, any current S Cubed users, shoot them if you're using it, and give me some hearts so I know. And if you're not using it, have at it. Thank you for your purchase and for using it. And let me just see if I can show you how to get around my store a little bit, and then I'm going to hang it up unless I get questions. So there is my YouTube channel there, and then this is my store. And then if you scroll down on the left, you will see, wait, where is it? The categories over here on the left here. There is a bunch of categories there, and you can get in there. I selected bundle, and it will take you to all of the bundles. And then this is how it really custom categories. You can see all the bundles, and then I didn't put the freebies under freebie today, so you get to search a little bit for lesson 27, lesson 1, and lesson 15 of level 2 if you want to download and see the scope. And then that's it. And then also on my TES store, which is a different store, the middle school new course teacher starter pack is $19, and that's going to kind of stay that way. And you can get a little bit of S Cubed lessons 1 through 3, along with some other things in there that will certainly help you along your way. So I'm going to hang it up. I appreciate your time, and I hope these sessions have been effective and giving you some ideas and things. So, and there's tons of free stuff out there on my blog and everything. Just go dig around and see what you can find, and thank you. Talk to you soon. I'll send out something email with some July sessions soon. I appreciate the hearts. Take care.